I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations that are 501c3 nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they are here to give you updates on future projects. Let's make some new friends today. I often give the advice of getting a mentor. It's an important role when someone has the ability to actually inspire you and get you to listen. Sometimes you need someone to motivate you and help you understand the way of the world, and it's not like we're going to listen to our parents. The other thing I love most is creativity and making all forms of art. If it wasn't for my creative expression, I would feel trapped and often lost, so I know from experience that putting the two together is a winning formula, especially for kids, but most especially for kids dealing with trauma. Free Arts' mission is transforming children's trauma to resilience through the arts. Their research-based program model, Art Plus Mentors Equals Resilience, helps their participants build the resilience they need to overcome adversity by connecting them with caring adult volunteer mentors and intentional art activities that develop both their skills and sense of self. Their vision is that every child who has experienced the trauma of abuse, neglect, and/or homelessness has access to resilience-building arts programs and caring adult volunteer mentors. Today, I'm fortunate to speak with Annika Meulink, Program Coordinator at Free Arts. Annika, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Thank you.
I'm also joined by Beth Garrett-Coleman, Program Manager over at Free Arts. Beth, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson as Annika raises the roof off to my right.
Thank you.
I'm very happy you're both here. Annika, we met at a great fun event, Saboris Day Tucson, when you were tabling at that event, and I couldn't help but notice what was going on. And I think I spent like 20 minutes bothering you at that event. It was really good to meet you and learn all about what you're doing.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you as well. You caught my eye right away with your beautiful golden shoes and your positive attitude.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, I was privileged enough to table there to recruit volunteer mentors and professional artists such as yourself. And then we had a beautiful conversation about what you do and what we do at Free Arts. And I'm really excited to be here.
No, it's great. And this is a good example of why organizations like yours need to just get out in the world, get out and table just so people see you, know you, and get aware of you. Because look, it leads to being on the radio. It leads to so many more thousands of people that are going to learn about this great organization. That's how many thousands of kids we're going to help as well. And that's what's super important, is connecting these dots for everybody and helping everybody find the help that they need, especially when it comes to mentorship, which is great. Beth, how are you? And can you give me a little bit? I gave that mission statement, but why don't we ask you a little bit of what the 101 is of Free Arts? Tell me what it's all about.
The 101 of Free Arts. Obviously, we are a nonprofit who serves children, but we serve specifically children mostly who are living in out-of-home care situations. So that can involve being in foster care, being in touch with the system, or folks who are living in shelters or residential treatment centers. And we, for the most part, bring our programming to them, but occasionally also get to take them to some other places. And we pair our caring adult mentors and our resilience building arts programs together to help them learn how to bounce back from challenges, try new things, and build some skills.
And I really think that it's a big, big deal. As I was talking about, mentors have changed my life. It's huge to have someone in your life that really inspires you and gets you to be able to take action, help you solve problems, untie a knot in your mind, or just be there as a friend. You know, that's really important too. And the numbers are right on your page. So I've got a whole bunch. So on average, you have Free Arts programs that serve 7,561 children a year. You've got Free Arts programs that are supported by more than 338 volunteers a year. And we're going to get into some of our volunteer actions in a little bit. There's 103 paid opportunities for local teaching artists each year, which is incredible to hear. Another great opportunity for working artists, as well as freelancers, to get involved, work some gigs, and help out some kids. But then you've also got 139 activities. So activities for children, teens, and families each year. Let's talk about some of the programs that you're offering over at Free Arts.
Yeah, I guess I could share first the program I coordinate. which are our one-day events, Free Arts Days, where we have some beautiful cultural partners in Maricopa County and now in Pima County, where we invite participants to join us there for the day and do an art activity centered around that cultural partner. And then they get to do either a tour or whatever that cultural partner is, some educational experiences with them. For example, we took some children to the Tucson Botanical Gardens. So they got to do a succulent building project with their horticultural therapist and then tour the gardens while they were there.
That's amazing. A horticultural therapist. There you go.
Yes. We have a family program, so they are invited to Free Arts Days as well as some of our series, but it's catered to the families, so the adults are participating in the art projects as well. And we have our Resilient Roots program, which serves unaccompanied minors and refugee populations in Arizona. So we like to make their activities and events special and catered to their cultures and use cultural competency and humility while we are working with them. We try to recruit bilingual volunteers or use translation apps to communicate, but we've found that art is also just a beautiful form of communication to have with them. And they also are a program, but they are also invited to series and Free Arts Days as well.
That's amazing. I love cultural competency. What was that you said?
Yes. It's just having an understanding of other cultures.
Yes.
And humility is that lifelong process of not knowing everything, but being open to learning and educating yourself and understanding that everyone is different and that their story is their story, and to acknowledge that.
Especially here in the Southwest, which is very important. Hearing about that bilingual part of it is a huge piece, and just using every single thing that you can. I'm at events sometimes, and I will just try to get a quick app to translate something so I can communicate with someone and help their kid out. And I will make sure that I bring bilingual comics. And boy, that is so impressive to people because no one does it. Where, oh, you have something for my kids too. Yeah, I do. Because we're right here and I do things down in Sarita. You have to care about the community that you're in and know the environment that you're in. That's really important to help these kids understand that. It's just something that kids of all ages, that means you adults, should understand as well.
Absolutely. And then I'll let Beth share some of our other wonderful programs.
Sure. We have a weekly mentor program that is our oldest program at Free Arts. And what that looks like is a pair of our trained volunteer mentors will go directly to where kids are living once a week, an hour a week for about 16 weeks. So that's like 4 months. And that one's so special because they get a chance to really build some deep long-term connections. But is also special in that that is the program where mentors get to decide what you're working on. So if they would like to, we have a curriculum and a manual that is full of all kinds of different art activities for them to choose from. But they can also freestyle a little bit as long as it has meaning and is appropriate. And they have a coordinator they can bounce those things off of. We also have a professional artist series. That's a big one for, as you said, those folks who freelance, those local teaching artists. All of those artists go through the same training and onboarding process as our volunteers, and they go in once a week for about 4 weeks. And they spend time working on their specific art form with kids who are living in out-of-home care. So they're developing a really specific skill. So, for instance, if you are like a sculpture artist, you would spend those 4 sessions learning all about sculpture. And what's special about that program is it typically ends in some sort of celebration of everything that the young people have been making. Sometimes that's as big as an exhibit or a performance, and sometimes that's I get to show the rest of the people living in my group home all of the things that I worked on, which is very fun. And then our, I think, final program is the camp series, which is a favorite of mine because it is so special. We have day camps in Phoenix where kids get to come in either to our building or sometimes the Herberger Theater Center, or we might go to where they're living and they spend a whole day rotating through multiple art forms. So it's like a professional artist series, but like blown way up.
Wow.
Yeah, they get to spend time getting to know their artists and getting to know art forms, but they're also spending that time intentionally sort of generating things for a final showcase or performance. So in the case of them coming to our building or us going to them, that might look like a sort of show and tell style. Here's all the stuff that I learned. I learned Bollywood dancing and drumming, and here is the sculpture I made. Or in the case of the Herberger Theater Center, that looks like a performance in front of 300 people, which is crazy.
That is.
And so special. So that one's a favorite.
Performing arts have become one of my more favorite things. I even just went and saw Shrek the Musical by Saguaro City Music Theater. They're a great friend of the show that I love having them on. I love interviewing the kids because, boy, you'll just be so inspired by these kids. They don't know nothing about politics yet. They're not ruined at all. They've got just bright futures, right? So it's really great to talk to kids and get inspired by them, but it's also great that you're having these mentors meet them where they're at, going to where they live. That's incredible because I bet that even can be a bit of a challenge, is just some of that environment for these kids that are dealing with stuff. Just getting them somewhere else, getting them somewhere where they're uncomfortable is not what you want to do. You want someone to go to where they're the most comfortable. And that's really important. I love mentors. So I have a story of a mentor that I want to share. And it was only about a decade ago, but I had a mentor who's a teacher. And boy, I was in a jam. I got a cool gig. I was doing something for a design company, but I did not know how to do it. Just technology had passed me by. So I had to call him as I'm like freaking out. It's 9:30 at night and this thing's due. I'm like, I need help. And he met me down at the school and we worked together till 11 o'clock figuring out what this is. And he's like, do you think you can finish it? I'm like, I think I can. And I did. I finished that whole thing. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I did it. And then I go, my chest hurts. And I had broken out in hives.
Oh, I've been there.
Never happened in my life. But it shows you what like anxiety, a trial, a real problem can be. I've never been like so out of control with like a deadline or a situation where here's an opportunity and I might not fulfill it. And that guy, his name's Eric Westland. Eric, I love you. His name's Eric Westland. And he helped me through all of that and through many other things when it comes to being a creative entrepreneur. Us art folks are tough, right? We got different brains to a degree. And having someone guide you when you are in the dark is so important. And I only just bring that example up because there was literally a physical manifestation of how much I was really in a way suffering through this problem that I had. So I needed help. I cannot emphasize enough how much having a mentor or a guiding light at different stages of your life is important. And that is something that's helped me so much. So tell me just maybe a story. I know that there's some videos on the website, which is freeartsaz.org. And there's some videos on there that there is a success story or two on there. Can you tell me a bit of a success story just from your own personal experience or one that you know of?
Sure. I'll talk about, we had a camper in one of our theater camps. And as I said, in that camp, you're spending time rotating through different art forms and starting to build pieces for a show kind of based on your own experience. And we had one young person who she took Ariana Grande's music and instrumental version, and she mashed together, I think it was like 5 to 7 of her songs. We affectionately dubbed it the Ariana Grande Mega Mix. But she changed the lyrics to reflect some of the things that she'd been through and some of the things that she was hoping for her future. And it was very beautiful and very hopeful. And she worked really hard on it. All of her artists helped her splice the songs together and helped her practice and help her warm up. And then we get to the night of the performance and there are like 300 people in the audience and she gets on stage and she starts and then she just can't do it and she walks right off the stage. And what happened after that, I think, is the magic. So Chanel Bragg, one of our theater teaching artists, stepped out onto the stage and said, everybody, let's give her a hand for being so brave. And she started to manage the audience. And I got to be in the wings and I saw some of her other adults and also some of her fellow campers come up and they're rubbing her shoulders like she's a boxer in a ring. And they're like, you got this. And we have another person holding her hands and literally co-regulating, taking deep breaths together. someone's getting her water, and she's finally like, okay, I can do it. I can get back out there. And she does. And she performs the entire song in front of all those people. They're all cheering for her. And then I think backstage, there was even more cheering. All of her fellow community was celebrating her doing this really big, brave thing. And I have goosebumps, actually.
I'm getting choked up.
I
as
love
we
talking
speak.
about this story
Yes.
because that, I think, is the magic of free arts.
It is. It's right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm getting old too. Because when you can hear literally a beautiful moment, that's incredible. And that success of doing it, remember, performing is the hardest thing
So
to talk
hard.
in front of people, public speaking, right? And then let's add the fact you're going to sing. Let's add the fact that it's an original thing that you kind of wrote, That's incredible. That is what we're talking about, is how much her getting that help and experience, she can conquer the world after accomplishing a thing like that. No job interview is too big for that girl growing up, right? That's important. No college interview is going to stump her. That is incredible. Way to build up a person. That is what this organization does. It's free arts. You can go get all the details over at freeartsaz.org. Don't forget, because there's also a great place you could follow them online if you like that social media, because they're on Instagram at freeartsaz. They're on Facebook at freeartsaz. What a trend I'm noticing. And you go follow them on LinkedIn if you're that sort of professional person as well. It's where the adults hang out on social media. Let's get some more information about a great event coming up, because you got a big event coming up. I believe it's a classy Hang On Pinkies Out Symposium, Resilient Heart Symposium, August 16th, correct?
Yes.
It's at 9 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. over at ASU Sky Song Center in Scottsdale. I'll give you all the details later in a recap. But tell me about this great event and what you have planned and what's going on August 16th.
Yes, this is an annual thing we do that brings together our community of volunteers, of professional teaching artists, clinical professionals as well, from behavioral health lenses and other facilities we work with in the community, DCS case managers, partner agency staff. So it's an accumulation of everyone we work with, and it's an opportunity to creative as adults and also learn more about trauma-informed care and art centered around trauma-informed care. And we recruit some of our professional artists and clinicians we work with to lead workshops throughout the day. So we'll all start together with breakfast and a fun introductory activity, and then rotate through some workshops, meet back for lunch, and then do some more workshops in the afternoon.
That's a very rewarding day. That sounds a lot of fun. I see at the events, what are plenary learning lessons? What's that word?
Plenary.
Plenary?
So that is, we'll all be together. It's kind of like a keynote. If you're familiar with conference lingo, it's a time where the whole conference is together in one big room and we're all listening to the same speaker instead of in a smaller workshop.
Okay, and then you have your breakout sessions and then all those expressive art experiences.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important. Tell me about this event in the past. Like, what have you seen from this event in the past and what's come out of it? Because obviously it's a pinnacle event for everybody involved.
Yeah, so this symposium was born out of our annual conference. It started as a way for us to connect with partner agencies and also our volunteer mentors, but we were kind of doing those separately. And then we realized that there is a benefit to combining both of those groups and building connections and relationships. You can imagine if you're an artist or a mentor and you've been going to the same handful of group homes a lot over the years, you might form connections with those staff. And this might be a way to also facilitate new ones. From there, we wanted to provide some spaces for people to continue to learn about things like trauma-informed care, or why art is the mechanism that we have chosen for kids to build resilience. And it grew into this much bigger thing, which is so special. So I think we are hoping for thought leaders in the community regarding trauma-informed care and art. And this is a way to do that.
Absolutely it is. And I love helping you get the word out. So now let's talk about volunteering, because obviously you're a big organization that has a lot to do with volunteering. Volunteers can get involved. There's a bunch of ways to help out. Obviously you can donate money. That's always a big thing to do. But you can always donate your time. And there's other fun ways that you have suggested here for not just volunteering, but also hosting an art drive, which I think is excellent, to host your own art supply drive this amazing organization. When I read that, I'm like, let me rummage around the house real quick, see what I got. I was almost going to show up with some stuff to give him. I'm like, slow down. We'll see what happens. I got a few things. So there's also Host Just a Fundraiser. That's super fun, a fun thing to do. Host a fundraiser for all these kids. A volunteer mentor, obviously. We'll talk a little bit about that too. But tell me about how you can get volunteers involved in some of these ways that volunteers do get involved. Do you need volunteers for the big event as well?
We do need volunteers for the big event. I think something of that undertaking is so massive, and we have a staff of, I think, 16 or 17 people, and it takes more than that to make this sort of thing run. Mm-hmm. So we are looking at our volunteers for things like greeting folks and getting everyone settled in. It takes a village.
It does. It's a big event, and it takes a lot of people to get involved, but a lot of people love helping out. A lot of people love going to events. A lot of people are retired. They're easy to greet people. I work with SACA, so I do a lot of this fun stuff and help these organizations. Again, the event that we met, it's mostly volunteer run. A lot of SACA events are. You'd be surprised. I think 7 people work at that organization, but you'd think it would be dozens and dozens and dozens. But no, a lot of work can get done with a small group of real dedicated folks and dedicated people. If you want to donate, it's right there over at freeartsaz.org on the top right. There's a big green button. If you want to volunteer, there's a big purple button right there on the top right. So you can go get all the details on how you can make a difference, because there's a lot of opportunities. There's even virtual orientations, so that makes things easier as well. But a lot of opportunities, the whole calendar there. Go check it all out so that you know where you can take advantage of this great opportunity to help out this great organization. You also qualify for the foster care tax credit. So let's not forget that. I always like to remember to invite people to donate their Arizona tax credit, but then you also qualify for the foster care credit, which is another big thing. Don't let this money go to waste. It's a dollar for dollar match from the state. Do you want to go fix roads? Well, yes, we do. But you want your money to help kids out as well. So you should pick where it goes, and you can donate this money to a great organization like this. Tell me just one other thing. I always ask this. What's a secret about free arts that we may not know, or it might be a secret to the community?
Ooh,
That's a tough question.
that is a tough and really good question.
Say that louder into the mic. No, I'm kidding.
I feel like maybe it's that free arts kind of is the secret. I think that we've been around for 30 years,
Wow.
more than that. And I think that not a ton of people know about us. Unless you're really involved in this foster care world or children living in out-of-home care world. So I think that free arts is, in and of itself, an unfortunately well-kept secret, and we are working to change that.
I'm going to be honest with you. That's a common answer here is, unfortunately, like, we feel like we're the best-kept secret. This thing, it happens because your organization needs a spotlight shined on it, like many organizations do. Because unfortunately, some people just care about what does affect them. That's what it is. In my family, it's MS. They care very much about MS because someone in my family is affected by MS. Mm-hmm. We all have our things that we care about. But you know what we all do care about is kids growing up in our community. That's what makes your community. You don't want a bunch of latchkey kids running around there causing all these problems like they used to back when they were out of control and they called them greasers. No, we can't have a bunch of that and their poodle skirts running around. Anarchy in the 50s. No, we want to help these kids grow up in a great community that is supporting them, especially when they're coming from trauma. Jokes aside, right? I always like to make a little joke, but it's a really important thing to support these kids and support these families, especially through mentorship and getting the help that they need, having adults understand some of these situations and these problems. If you had one wish for your organization, and this is pretty much the last question, what would it be?
I think my wish would be that we can eventually serve more of Arizona. We're primarily in Maricopa County and now in Pima County, and have done some wonderful things in Tucson. But I've done some tabling events with SACA and some other organizations. When I was in Patagonia, families travel from all of the counties in Arizona to bigger areas for specifically art programming or educational things that they do not receive in their communities. I guess my one wish would be that we can infiltrate all of these spaces where they really need creativity and free programming.
That's a good point. I hear this a lot, is that the underserved rural community is that there's a lot of great little towns all over that they do not have access to. So they have to go to those events. They have to go to these bigger areas. So yes, that is important. The underserved rural communities and people that aren't getting these experiences in their communities. So growth is a huge, great wish, and I hope that I can help you do it. I'll try to connect some dots for real, because that's how this all works. That's how Tucson works, especially better than Phoenix, is community. Everyone does kind of know everybody. So the more you get in the know and the more you get involved and help other organizations, those organizations really do want to help you. I see it a lot. So getting that growth here in Tucson might help you grow exponentially in the state. Let's hope that we can help you grow in Pima County for sure. Any wishes on that side of the table?
Same thing. Obviously, our vision is that everybody has, everyone who's experienced trauma has access to this kind of programming. And I think that the dream is that means the whole state, all of the corners. Trauma is, as we all know, it's pervasive. Everybody has experienced some level, and there are so many types. And I think this programming can help anybody. I know that just working here has helped me.
Whether you're volunteering or working at a great organization like that, helping people just helps you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it really does. It takes care a lot of what you've got going on in your life as well. I get a lot of it out of all the stuff that I get involved with because it's very rewarding, and it's a secret. It's how you make friends. It's how you make friends as an adult. Mm-hmm. If you want to make friends as an adult, go volunteer. You're going to find like-minded folks that care about the thing you care about, and then all of a sudden you're going to be like, hey, you want to go to the movies? And you've got friends. That's just right. Like that. And I've got new friends because today we made friends with Annika Meulink, program coordinator at Free Arts, as well as Beth Garrett-Coleman, program manager over at Free Arts, where you should consider volunteering because to a child at Free Arts, it's a chance to connect, create, and build a bright future. Thank you both so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This was Lifestyle Tucson. Bing bong bing, time for a recap. What a great time with those lovely ladies. I loved meeting them at that event, and then getting them on in here is the whole point. And like I was saying, it's why no matter what your organization is, arts or not, you should be tabling at other events so that people become aware of you. This internet's a bunch of nonsense. You got to be out there in the world so people actually meet you and their curiosity's piqued, and then you can tell them, just like they've told you today, how important their organization is, because you can hear it. You can hear how important it is and how fulfilling it is to get involved with organizations like this, helping out kids and being a mentor. I can't emphasize it enough. I've had several mentors in my life. It's a really big deal to have someone in your life that can actually affect you. Like their words, you can't help it. Like they affect you more than your parents' words, more than certain friends you have. There are people that you might look up to or you can put or position in your life and have them help you as a mentor. So I think it's really important to get mentors for kids. So maybe you want to get involved with this great organization by going to freeartsaz.org, following them on Facebook at freeartsaz, same thing at freeartsaz on Instagram, and they are also on LinkedIn as well. They are located up in Phoenix, but they are doing more and more things down here in Tucson. You could hear it. They're trying to expand and do more, but their phone number is 602-258-8100 to get more of that information from them. Maybe schedule a visit to some of those things or go check out one of their one-day events. It sounds like there's a lot going on. Get everything going on for August 16th when you want to go visit them for that big symposium that's going on. The Resilient Hearts Symposium, August 16th. It's over at the ASU Sky Song Center in Building 3 up in Scottsdale. You can get all the details on their website. Again, it goes from 9 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. again, August 16th. They also have a podcast called Canvas of the Heart Podcast. The series is a collection of conversations that spotlight ways Free Arts creates hope for children, teens, and young adults who have experienced trauma. It's hosted by Free Arts Executive Director Matt Sandoval. Canvas of the Heart also seeks to educate listeners about the benefits of mentorship and expressive art through a trauma-informed clinical lens. So I want to thank our new friends at Free Arts for joining me today. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. If you're a nonprofit that would like to be on the show, email lifestyletucson@gmail.com. For more information about this program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday Mornings page on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, or espntucson.com.
You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Audible, or wherever fine podcasts are free. And love the arts. Follow on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Lifestyle Tucson, because I'm your BFF, your best Frank forever, Frank Powers. And toot toot Tucson, I love you the most.